For this week, we want to learn a new functional group, which is a carboxylic acid, and this is a chapter 4. You want to focus only the basic and naming of carboxylic acid. Here is the course lesson outcome, so you all should be able to understand among these subtopic in carboxylic acid. So here is the introduction to carboxylic acid. The functional group of carboxylic acid consists of carbonyl with hydroxy bonded to the same carbon. So means that in this carboxylic acid containing of carbonyl and also hydroxy functional group. So there are two functional group attached at the same carbon. So it's called as a carboxyl group. So carboxyl group can be divided into two types. So aliphatic acid, which is a alkyl group bonded to C double bond O OH, and also aromatic acid, which is have aryl group. So here is the general formula for alkyl group, R C double bond O OH, and also aryl group, aromatic, attached with the carboxylic acid. So first subtopic, we must learn about the nomenclature of the carboxylic acid, which means we want to give name of the carboxylic acid compound. So the IUPAC name for carbonyl group is always at the beginning of carbon chain. So this is only focused for carboxylic acid. So how to give the name of IUPAC for this compound, which is first rule, carbonyl group C double bond O is always at the beginning of carbon chain, which is designated as carbon 1. So here is example. Okay, so this one is C double bond O OH. So we need write this C as a C1 and followed by the C2 and also C3. So IUPAC name for carboxylic acid is derived from the alkane corresponding to the longest carbon chain that containing of the carboxyl group, which is contain of carbonyl and also hydroxy attached at the same carbon. So the parent name is ending with the oil acid. So like this, methane. Okay, so once this structure attached with the double bond O and also hydroxy, so then the parent name of this compound become methanoic acid. So here is some of example of carboxylic acid. So look at this. Okay, because of this carbon containing of C double bond O OH, so designated C1. So this is position C1 and followed C2 and C3. So the parent name become propanoic acid because of there are 3 carbon, and then at carbon 2 attached with the substituent bromine, which is halide. So the name become 2-bromo-propanoic acid. So here is other example. Okay, so because of containing carboxylic acid, so this carbon designated as C1 and followed C2, C3 and C4, and then at carbon C2 and C3 attached with substituent of alkyl, so the name become 2,3-dimethyl because there are 2 R group, which is methyl, and suffix become di because of containing the same alkyl group, and then the parent name will protanoic acid. So next rules for cycloalkanes with C double bond OOH as substituent. Okay, so the name become cycloalkanecarboxylic acid. So here is cycloalkane attached with the substituent functional group carboxylic acid. Okay, so the name become cyclohexane. Okay, this one cyclohexane, and the parent name will give a C double bond OOH, which is carboxylic acid. So here is example. Okay, this cyclohexane attached with the functional group and also substituent. So the priority, the parent name will give to the carboxylic acid, whereas for this substituent alkyl group, so naming as a followed clockwise. So 3, the position of alkyl share on the same carbon, 3,3 dimethyl cyclohexane carboxylic acid. So next rule for IUPAC name is trivial or common name for carboxylic acid. Okay, some of the organic acid usually known by common name. Okay, mostly in our laboratory, we not only the IUPAC name, but we using the known name by the common name of the carboxylic acid. So here's some of example carboxylic acid in IUPAC name, but we using the common name. So such as acetic acid, okay, and methanoic acid. This is some of example of a common name. So IUPAC name for methanoic acid, okay, the structure for methanoic acid, and this is a name for common name, acetic acid. We call as acetic acid. Sorry, for this one, okay, for this one is a common name, okay, acetic acid, and this one common name for methanoic acid is formic acid. So here is some of the example formulas and names for saturated carboxylic acid, which is this common name always used for experiment or in laboratory lab. Okay, next rule is substituent location giving using Greek letters beginning with the carbon next to the carbonyl group. Okay, here is some of example for this situation, which is this carboxylic acid. This carboxylic acid, we want to using the Greek letters. Okay, we learned before this the previous chapters. We have alpha, beta, saturated and unsaturated carbon. So for carboxylic acid, okay, for this structure example, okay, C double bond O OH, we always designated as C1, okay, followed C2 and C3. So it is same to the Greek letters, which is the starting of the Greek letters must be nearest to the C double bond O OH. Okay, so this one is functional group carboxylic acid, and then the nearest of the C double bond OOH become alpha carbon. So this one become beta carbon, and this one become gamma carbon, and so on. So these letters we call as Greek letters. So next is for aromatic carboxylic acid. So here is a general formula for aromatic carboxylic acid. Okay, aromatic, AR, C double bond O OH, where AR is referred to aryl group, which is aromatic group. Okay, so here are some of example. Okay, so this aromatic, okay, attached with the substituent functional group C double bond OOH, which is we known as carboxylic acid, attached with this aromatic, so the name become benzoic acid. So next is the hydroxy 2-hydroxy benzoic acid. Okay, so the numbering follow the clockwise position. Okay, which means the C double bond OOH become designated as a first carbon, and then follow clockwise. This one is C2, so 2-hydroxy benzoic acid. Okay, so here is for nitro, which is the substituent attached at the C3 of the benzoic acid. So the numbering of the aromatic must be followed the clockwise. So next, this is a nomenclature or rules for aliphatic dicarboxylic acid. Okay, dicarboxylic acid means that this carboxylic acid containing of two carboxyl group we call as the dicarboxylic acid. Okay, so the systematic name must be followed the suffix. So the suffix we know as, if there are two carboxylic acid, so we give the suffix as di. If 3 carboxylic acid, so the suffix become tri, and so on. So here is the example. Here are the example of carboxylic acid containing of suffix number. So this structure contain of 2 carboxylic acid. This is aliphatic carboxylic acid. So the name become ethane dioic acid. So this one is the common name for ethane dioic acid, oxalic acid. So here is the carboxylic acid for aliphatic. So in this aliphatic hydrocarbon, so there are 2 of the functional group C double bond OOH attached on this carbon. So the name become propane dioic acid, or the common name for this acid is malonic acid. And this one also same, 2 carboxylic acid attached at this aliphatic alkane, so the name become hexane dioic acid. So next is the structure and physical properties of carboxylic acid.